Good morning, everyone. This is my commentary to this week's lecture, lecture number 14. And in this lecture, we cover a case study. And I wanted to do this basically to show how modeling can actually be used in a decision-making policy framework. So instead of focusing on the model development, on the structure and the equations and all these things, I actually focus on how the model was used, how it was conceived, and the results and some discussion. The case study that we covered is the water resources management in South Florida, and that's a case that I've been involved for a few years now. And what's particularly interesting about this case study is that we actually developed the modeling tool in concert with a number of stakeholders and organizations. So the actual model development exercise was done in situ, and it was also done, with the cooperation and the buy-in from different entities, that made the exercise in itself very valuable, and also made the experience a lot more rich, in the sense that you're able to understand how different people and from different organizations and different disciplines think about a part of a problem, and the role of you as a modeler is to bring it all together and to try to make sense of these different interactions, and also then feedback to these different users as to how these different interactions produce these results that most times are not totally intuitive. So it was really a rich exercise, and I hope you enjoy the lecture and the results, and read a little bit more about the paper. I think and this case study also reflects a lot of how I see system dynamics moving ahead, system dynamics modeling moving ahead in decision making. This co-development of modeling tools with users is something that we've started to see in other disciplines as well, but it is particularly important when policy making, decision making exercises are being done. So I encourage you to take a good look at this and to see how the model was structured. I basically showed very briefly the model itself for a couple of reasons. I think the first one is that it was developed in another platform, Stella, that's not covered in this class, and I mean, that's nothing wrong with it, but I do point out some of the things that Stella has in common with Vensim, and also some that don't. I think the second reason is that I'm actually trying to port this South Florida model onto Vensim for further development, because I've liked the Vensim interface quite a bit more. So I hope you enjoy that piece, and I hope that you find the case study interesting. A couple of bookkeeping items. We have the assignment number 2 is due this week on Friday, April 26th. So I hope please get this to me in time. I need to grade these things, and I need to turn the grades in on time. And there's so Friday the 26th. It's the drop dead time, drop that deadline for this. So I hope you can turn it in. I'm also going to ask you next week. We have one more lecture next week, there I sort of want to provide a. So I got a little bit of problem with my throat this morning. Let me have some coffee. See if that clears it up. Much better. Just an excuse to have a sip of coffee. So next week we'll do a little bit of a cap lecture, just to show you some interesting developments on the research side of things that are going on, and we'll also sort of close the loop back to how we started class with the whole limits to growth, the World 3 model. So I'm going to show you that model since I've talked so much about it, and I'm also going to ask you to give me some feedback on the class. This was the first time I teach this class in this format, particularly the online, non-presential approach. And I want to get your feedback, as I would like to continue offering this class. I already have some ideas, and I'll share them with you next time about how the class can be improved. This was the first time. It was bound to be very you know, it's got a lot of things that can be improved on. Let me just say that. So I'll give you some of my impressions next week, and I'd love to get yours, either on the Facebook page or verbally, or however you want to give them to me, or anonymous, whatever. Okay. So with that said, have a good week. Enjoy this lecture, and I'll see you next time. Take care.